Shekhar Suman, welcome to CNN News 18.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Shekhar sir, first, many congratulations for giving a winning performance in Heeramandi as Khan Bahadur Zulfikqr. It's a pivotal role. How do you see this accomplishment of yours, sir, having spent now 40 years as an actor in the industry?
It's fabulous. It's God sent. Yeah, I think I have to thank God and people for giving me so much love for 4 decades now. It's fabulous. I mean, what more do you want? This is an extreme form of validation, and that love and that adulation and that applause and all of that has come with it. That you have forgotten all the agony and torment that would probably besiege you in between. And For an actor who started from a magnum opus like Utsav, where I had Girish Khanna directing me and Rekha as my co-star, my lead heroine, what more could I have asked for to start off my career with? My debut was like absolutely more than dreamlike, and then the clock seems to have turned full circle with Bhansali Sahab now casting me in the role of Zulfikqr with Manisha. So from one beautiful heroine to another, and many in between. A lot of people ask me why I have not been so proactive and done, I could have done a lot more roles in between. But I guess that it's not the frequency of the role, but the impact of the role that you do that would be remembered for years to come, rather than doing just mediocre things and be seen every day. I don't think it's a big deal. So I was waiting for this right opportunity to come about, and this came as a blessing when Bhansali Saab approached me, and I said, "Atta boy, this is what I was waiting for." And even the first scene that you're talking about, the carriage scene, I have a very interesting anecdote to tell you. Is that Bhansali Saab is constantly evolving, so he keeps changing everything around you. So the scene would be changed, the lines would be changed. Gestures would be changed, meaning would be changed, interpretation would be changed. So when I came, and this was my first scene that I shot for, and it seemed like a fairly interesting scene where I'm drunk, and then he's talking about his agony, he's talking about his helplessness. While I was preparing for the shot and going for it, he stopped me and he said, "I have got something on my mind playing. Can I share it with you?" I said, "Yeah, put it up." He changed the entire interpretation of the scene of this Nawab who goes on the other side, gets a fellatio, and he's in that act, and he's also interacting with Malika Jan. I remember doing the scene, and I had heard that Mr. Bhansali takes many retakes, and he's not pleased easily. He's very hard to please. And while I was doing this scene, that thought crossed my mind for a half a second while I was immersed into the character. I hope I'm doing it right. So something that should have not come to me, because when you're portraying a character, it should be 100%. That half a percent came to me, said, "Am I doing it right?" And that was it. And I continued doing it. It was a one-take shot, after which Mr. Bhansali Saab came clapping, and he said, "Magnificent, magnificent, magnificent, brilliant." And then he looked at me and said, "Pack up." And I'm very happy for the entire cast. And what a fabulous job they have done. And I asked him a question. I said, "Mr. Bhansali, you had the liberty of casting the biggest stars. They would have given their right arm to do it. They've all worked with you. Why did you take us and, this ensemble cast?" He said, "You are the biggest stars." Imagine such a beautiful statement encourages you to do better and instills in you a tremendous amount of self-confidence.
Then staying with, like you said, Bhansali, of course, is a hard taskmaster who asks for multiple takes. Then, you've been acting from last 40 years now. How comfortable are you when you find director who's being so demanding?
I love it. As a matter of fact, if he didn't take retakes, I would be worried, because then he is like fly by night kind of thing. Most of the time the director have this attitude: it's okay, nobody's going to bother, nobody's going to see, it's fine, let's move on to the next scene, we are running out, time is money, and blah blah blah, all that shit. Here is the man who till you don't deliver, will be at it. And I think that's so beautiful. But I come from that school, I come from that school of Utsav where I had another genius, Girish Karnad, directing me. I come from the school where I had Anand Mahendru directing me, Dekh Bhai Dekh, another task. When we say taskmaster, it's probably a misnomer. It's not the correct term to use. They are what they are supposed to be. Directors are supposed to be like that. Perfect. If you're not, just get the hell out of that place. And what are you doing? It's good to have someone who's hard to please, because then you are on your feet all the time. You're putting your best foot forward. You know that there is somebody who's going to be unsparing, and that you have to give your best. So that makes the actor give his best or her best.
Don't you think an actor gets emotionally drained after first few takes? And here you're talking about 15 takes, 20 takes, some have said 99 takes.
I have a very good answer to that. Think about a soldier who's there on the front with a gun, waiting for the opponent to attack. And after 12 hours, he says, it's been long now. I'm feeling a little bored and I'm like emotionally drained. I want to go back home. He doesn't do that. It's his job to be there, alert, and feel like a soldier, whether it is 1 hour, 1 day, or 1 month, whether it is raining, whether it's cold, whether it's sweltering heat. You have to be on the set like a soldier. You have no business to feel physically or emotionally exhausted. Otherwise, go out and do something else. I have been in situations where, not because of me, because of somebody else, there have been like 70 takes, 80 takes, and I'm still there trying to support that actor, because I know that toward the end, the net result is what is going to matter. So that should be the spirit. And a lot of actors, I think, people who are dedicated to the craft would never say, I'm exhausted physically, emotionally, or otherwise.
You are always been this charmer on the screen, the camera, and the audience loves you. Be it your debut film, debut TV show, Wah Janab.
No, my debut film, Utsav, Wah Janab came later.
Yes, of course. I'm saying be your TV debut with Wah
Debut,
Janab.
yes. Yeah, Wah Janab, yes.
Then to Sameer Dewan from Dekh Bhai Dekh, to hosting Movers and Shakers. What happened, sir? Why you took a break from that show?
True. I tell you why I took a break. Because I was getting, if I can say that without sounding boastful, but I was getting too, the host was getting too big, and it was overshadowing the actor. And I thought, if I continue doing this, it's easy to be in a place where you have so much fame and so much money coming your way, and then you get complacent. You tend to take things for granted. For me, that breather was very important. I am quintessentially an actor, and I would not settle for anything else. Be it TV, web series, film, stage, I have to act. And even Movers and Shakers was a role for me, the role of an irreverent host, which is not me, but I had to play it out, and it started becoming a part of my personality, thinking on your feet, repartees, quick thinking, all of that, wit, humor, and blah, 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 blah. And so I said, somebody asked me, why did you leave it? I said, because I was very good at it. And I did it without any regret. I had a lifelong contract with the channel. So do it as long as you want to. But then I think I would have probably like Jay Leno or David Letterman, I would have done that for 30 years. That becomes like a cult show. It never ends. I have a lot of pressure on me to kind of do it again. And see, I would love to do it, but I would love to do it the right way, the right channel. I promise you one day I will come back with it and carry the legacy forward. This country needs it. And there are no late night shows in that that sense that I'm talking about. They have a Jimmy Kimmel and all the young guys who have moved in. Somehow, Movers and Shakers gave me the confidence and gave me the recipe to do it rightly. I'm just praying to the universe that it gives me the opportunity to do Movers and Shakers once again.
But right now, what universe has signaled, or it's your, of course, decision is that you, of course, joined BJP recently. Although you're not contesting the election, what is the objective in joining politics?
No. I'll tell you. Sometimes, it was a very emotional sort of a decision for me. It's not a political decision that I want to get in and I want to indulge in politics. I'll tell you why I did that. A lot of people who were asking me whether you would be the first time in 2009 when I fought the general elections. I was not prepared for it. I was literally forced into it. I was emotionally cornered where I could not say no to some of the big wigs. And so I said, okay, let's do it. But I'm not prepared. I don't even have time. I haven't done anything for the constituency. I have no right to be there, but they said you have to do, you have to do. Anyway, being a novice at it and completely oblivious of what happens in elections and what happened in politics, I jumped into it. I realized it was uh, a mistake. It was a bitter lesson learned. I not with the party so much as I should be prepared. I should know my objective. I should know what I have come here for. And of course, in politics, there is an inner circle doing another kind of politics, and all of that you get entangled in that quagmire and that mesh, and it's very difficult to extricate yourself from. But this time round, uh, for some time, I was mulling over the fact that if we have a government who's often criticized also, but applauded also for its good work. Let me analyze and see which weighs more. And I saw the kind of things that this government has done far outweighs the criticism that it comes its way. And especially after the reinstatement of Ram Lalla back in Ayodhya, the abrogation of Article 370, the CAA, the UCC in Uttarakhand, and all of that prompted me that here was a government that meant business and it was out to do something good for the country, and I have to express my solidarity. Now, I could have done that from outside also, but sometimes you have to get into the system and strengthen the system. I'm a very small person that way, but I think each individual counts. And my whole, it's an emo. I haven't joined this as a politician. I've still joined it as an actor. And so I want to do something from my fraternity. I'm extremely indebted to my state and my town, Patna. And I feel that it's time, it's payback time, and I have to give it back to them.
So then, I have to ask you about Dekh Bhai Dekh. And I feel really bad for those who haven't seen that show. It's a sitcom in the 90s. It
Yeah,
really
yeah.
brought families together. Be it
Yes.
Seema, be it Sanju, or your character Sameer Diwan. I still remember that episode when you come with the character played by Lilliput, and he I think he's a magician, and you tell everybody that how on the signal he was saying a red light to green ho ja, a red light to
तो
green.
green I remember that. Yes. Yes, yes. That was we used to have a laugh right on the sets. We used to improvise so much. As a matter of fact, Anand Mehndru had the strict diktat. He said, never give Shekhar a full page of dialogue because he'll turn that into 12 pages. Give him one line, he'll expand it. So Lily was the writer of Dekh Bhai Dekh, and what a prolific writer, what a fantastic writer. He's understood the character so well. And I remember doing this scene, this traffic light scene, this green light to red, red light to green. I remember that, and we were laughing our guts out while doing it. There were so many instances. Dekh Bhai Dekh was a laugh, right? Not just while performing, but even while you used to read the script, we used to wonder how the scene will turn out when we perform, because while reading it, it's so funny, and every character was so specific and so well etched out. It was so much fun. I can't tell you the time when we shot. There was no fan. Forget the AC. We are cooped up inside a set which was so hot you could lay an egg. It was terrible with 70, 80 retakes for every scene. You can imagine I used to change my ganji about 70 times, the whole bucket of sweat I could pour it out there. It was, but we never cribbed. We never complained because we were enjoying so much, and you could see the excitement on the actors' faces. And even today, when you watch it, it doesn't feel dated at all. For the first time, we were shooting with multi-camera. We are not used to. We are used to single camera. Now the trick is all the cameras have little lights. So when you switch the camera, the light comes here that the actor is supposed to look here and perform. Then here from the corner of the eye. So while you're performing, remembering your lines, reacting, you have to also keep an eye on the lights above the camera and start performing there, because there was Anand Mahendra switching the um, cameras, where he used to sit and edit right there, and he used to be switching the cameras. Um, uh, yeah, the control unit, and he used to be sitting there. So initially, every actor was flabbergasted. Should I talk to you? Should I talk here, there? And when everybody got used to it, and when we fell into a rhythm, it was like a cakewalk every time. This was the only series I remember that we, from 9 o'clock in the morning when the shift started, till 2 o'clock lunchtime, we'll just be reading the script so many times backwards and multiple times. And by the time we came back on the sets by 2 o'clock, the script was like part of us. And that's why we were able to give extremely long takes, like 10 minutes with hundreds of cues and stuff. And and so it's a very, very important part of my life, and learning from Anand, you know, about characterization, about speech, about everything. I remember doing the famous scene of falling, slipping from the stairs, which was
Part of the
part of
montage.
the part of the montage. And when I did that, and I had rubber soles, and I had to slip naturally while I'm talking about shares are falling, and he falls. And he says, "How did I fall?" So he goes up, he falls again. Then Bhavna comes, he says, "Let her fall." She doesn't fall. So he goes and tries again, falls again. That scene was so beautiful. I did it. I didn't think that will become iconic till Mr. Mahendru called me 2 o'clock in the night, and he says, Shekhar, what you have done? I said, "What have I done? Did I make any mistakes? I mean, 2 o'clock in the night, you're calling me." He says, "You don't have any idea. That staircase scene that you have done will be remembered for ages."
You see
Yeah.
that show
It,
making a
it, it,
comeback, sir?
I would be surprised that it's just on the verge of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. We are sitting on the script of it right now. We are churning out scripts, and it's going to be back in a much bigger way that anybody can imagine. And with all the glory of Dekh Bhai Dekh, it would be fun, I tell you. Mr. Mahendru is continuously on the job. As a matter of fact, every morning he calls me. And as right now, I missed his calls where he said, "This script is ready, that script is ready. You have to play like this, you have to look like this." So we are all very excited.
It was produced by Jaya Bachchan, right?
Yeah, Bachchan.
How often Jaya Bachchan used to come on the sets of the show?
Regularly, regularly. Yeah, yeah, participate in the, in the melee that I remember, like celebrating a birthday on the sets, cutting a huge cake. And yeah, we just were expecting Mr. Amitabh Bachchan to come on the sets. And so one day, Mr. Bachchan has to come on the set. But no, he sent his good wishes always. He sent his reactions. It's fabulous. And this is the first series that went to London, and
Yes.
there was a London outing, and we went there. And the fun part is, because it was decided so sudden, there was no time to write the script. So while we were on the flight, he was making up the stories and the screenplays and all of that. By the time we landed in Bombay, because it was an expensive city and we had to shoot right away, Anand would just throw us in front of the camera and said, "But what do we say? There are no lines." He said, "You make up your own lines. Say whatever you have to say. You have learned so much, and we will blabber anything." And that became a part of the script. He will just tell the outline. "This is the story you have met. This. Now you start talking." And that was so much fun. I'll tell you a very exciting incident of that. When we landed at Heathrow Airport,
Yeah.
he said, "I'm going to, Dekh Bhai Dekh has come to in the show." He said, "Dekh Bhai Dekh has now come to the Diwan family has come to London, so we have to shoot that." So we didn't realize it, and he didn't realize that you have to take permission to shoot at the airport. He just took out the camera, started shooting. You go here, you go there, you hit him, you hit her. So I'm chasing Bhavna all over the place. Suddenly there are 40 bobbies, 40 policemen standing with guns. some old lady got up and called up the cops saying there is a young man trying to molest a girl. Oh my God. We were shivering. And he said, one more move, we're going to shoot you down. I said, Arey marwaya isme yaar. Well, shoot you down at the airport? What have we done? And then, of course, we had to cajole them and we had to give an explanation. We are shooting. He said, damn it, you should have taken the permission because people thought this was an action scene going. So that's how Mr. Mahendru got us into a lot of problem. But a great fun and a great family. And, we had so much fun with Farida ji because she was very shy, very conventional, very demure lady. So, if I was cracking a naughty joke, so I will tell Farida ji, you be out of this. Now you go and sit there. We are going to crack a naughty joke. She said, no, 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 no. Crack it. I'll close my eyes. So, but I'm listening. She was so endearing. She's such a darling.
Did you
And
meet her
so,
on the sets of Heeramandi?
yeah, Heeramandi, the premiere. I met her, I hugged her, and it was like, all the beautiful memories came rushing back up. And I told her in a year, Dekh Bhai Dekh is coming back. Are you prepared? She said, yes, of course. I will be there. Yeah.
And finally, you of course made your debut with Utsav, with that released in the year 1985. It also starred Rekha, and it was produced by Shashi Kapoor and was directed by Girish Karnad.
Ji.
The most cherished memory, sir, of your debut film, Utsav, and working with Rekha.
I still haven't come out from the stupor of working in Utsav. How can it be possible for a newcomer who has just landed in Bombay, hasn't opened his suitcase, and then he's working opposite Rekha as a hero? How is that possible? It doesn't happen. It doesn't even happen in your dreams. And a star cast then where Mr. Amitabh Bachchan was playing the villain, the role that which Shashi Kapoor played. And you had Mr. Kamal Hassan in the second lead, Rati Agnihotri, you had Padmini Kolhapuri, you had Om Puri, you had Shammi Kapoor, the whole lot. And I was leading the cast. I said, no way. And then he said, this is not just it, there is an international version to it. So you will be internationally famous because it's going to be shot in Hindi and English. And it was. And so this whole process of getting Utsav was so beautiful and so exciting, I can't tell you. And the day I was told by Shashi Kapoor when I was peeking inside the Prithvi Theatres, come here, come here, come here. And you don't want the film? I said, yes, sir, I do. And he said, go grab it before someone else grab it. You are now my hero. I can't forget the line, that moment. And I can't forget meeting Rekha for the first time, doing my first shot with her. It was unbelievable because I had watched her as a kid in school, and we were all like fans of her from Sawan Bhadur to Ghar to Muqaddar Ka Sikandar and Mr. Natwar Lal and Silsila. And here I was opposite her doing romantic scenes and unbelievable Saaj Dhale and Man Kyun Behka. And I met her in the during the premiere of Heeramandi, and she looked at me and she, you know, we gave each other a hug, and she was so happy to meet Adyan. And she said, when you came to work with me, you were a baby. Now this baby has got another baby, and this baby has grown up to be such a fine actor. So we had, these great moments together. It was again a costume drama, a period drama. So that's why I say clock has turned full circle. From Utsav, also, I was in love with the courtesan. In Heeramandi, again, I'm in love with a courtesan. There I was a Brahmin, here I'm a Nawab. वहां बिल्कुल गरीब था, यहाँ बहुत अमीर हूँ. All that similarities and the fact that both the projects are like magnum opus. Of course, Utsav is a milestone, and I think Heeramandi is a milestone. An actor gets to be lucky to have a few milestones. So movers and shakers and Dekh Bhai Dekh and Utsav and Heeramandi and all of that, they remain very close to my heart.
I have to wrap up, but I have read a
Yes.
book on Parveen Babi that is written by
Yes.
Katrina Upadhyay. And
Okay.
how was she? Because you of course have interviewed her.
Yes.
How was
That was
she?
the last
in
interview.
person?
She appeared like a perfect normal human being, like a very charming lady. But something snapped in between while I was talking to her. And then she went on that path, which was like, oh my God. Then she went on Mr. Bachchan, and then all that, which all of that I had to edit, from the show, because, it had no basis to it. And so that's the only time I felt that there is something wrong with her. She went completely hammer at talks. But apart
She
from
had
that,
mood swings. She had mood swings.
yes, I think so. I think so. Maybe she was schizophrenic. I don't know. Because she had made the lovely French onion soup for me, and I was little dithering, should I have it or not, what I had heard of her. And I told my unit guys, you have it first. So he said, why? Are you worried? I said, no, I'm not worried, but you have it. And so I was just joking, because I said, people talk strange things about her, that, she's a split personality or all that. Nothing of that sort. She's such a beautiful woman and so nice to talk to, which she was, except this bit. She was perfectly normal, even when the interview was over. And I kissed her hand, and she said, look at him. He's such a charming, handsome man. And she came, walked me to the door, saw me off. And so I have beautiful memories of Parveen. I was so sad to hear her about her death, and the way it happened, that people discovered her body 2 days later. And that, for someone who has seen the pinnacle, someone who is so pretty, wanted, was actually completely ignored and sidelined by the industry, just talks about the other aspect of the industry, which is completely heartless.
Well, sir, I'm looking forward to the second season of Dekh Bhai Dekh, and hoping to see you doing many roles both on OTT and in films. Thank you.
You're forgetting. You should be hoping to see me on Heeramandi season 2.
Of course, in Heeramandi season 2 as well.
Which is happening.
Which is happening, and we are waiting for it. But thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
all the best, sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your time.